Welcome to the arena, everyone. Today, we are treating the Cambridge syllabus exactly like an esport, and we are going to perfectly optimize your next run. We are targeting one of the most notoriously tricky, time-draining areas in the entire AS and A-level mathematics 9709 syllabus, Unit 5.3. Probability addition and multiplication rules. This is the exact zone where so many candidates bleed easy marks against the clock. They get bogged down, their mark velocity drops to zero, and the timer runs out before they can clear the high tariff questions at the end of the paper. But we aren't going to let that happen. By the end of this run, you are going to understand the exact methodologies the principal examiners are looking for. We are going to teach you how to optimize your reading speeds, deploy rapid execution frameworks, and absolutely eliminate wasted actions so you can maximize your marks against the clock. Let's get this timer started. Okay, let's dive right into the gameplay mechanics here. Why exactly do students hit a massive wall when they face multi-stage probability analysis? To understand the performance leak, let's look at our active viewport and consider two typical player profiles trying to clear this level. We've got player one, let's call him Alex. Alex is a completionist. Every time he hits a probability question, he overwrites. He slows down to detail secondary evidence points, and he draws massive, sprawling tree diagrams for every single tiny scenario. It's safe, but it causes massive time loss. The active run timer is just burning away while he's drawing branches. Then we have player two, Sam. Sam is a fast writer. Sam moves at incredibly high speed, crunching numbers mentally and throwing raw fractions onto the page. But Sam is constantly triggering marking penalties because they completely skip the command word parameters. The core issue holding them back isn't their math level. They both know the equations. The problem is a total lack of an examiner-aligned methodology. They aren't route optimized. To fix these performance leaks and get our mark velocity tracking perfectly, here is our 5-part route map for today's run. Checkpoint 1 is the core principles of probability. Checkpoint 2 is the procedural framework. Checkpoint 3 is the method mark strategy. Checkpoint 4 covers the top 3 examiner warnings. And we finish at Checkpoint 5, evaluating your final answer. Let's cross into Section 1, Core Principles of Probability. Before we can speedrun complex, multi-stage questions, we have to download the optimal map layout into our brains. We need a rock-solid theoretical foundation. The Cambridge syllabus isn't just testing whether you memorized isolated definitions, like knowing the addition rule is strictly for mutually exclusive events. They are testing active gameplay. The assessment objectives, or AOs, explicitly target knowledge, application, and analysis. This means you need a connected, conceptual understanding that transfers instantly to completely unfamiliar contexts. This is where we look at time saves versus time sinks. Misinterpreting a Cambridge command word, like hence versus otherwise, is a massive time sink. If the prompt says hence and you start calculating from scratch instead of using your previous answer, your mark velocity immediately drops. Examiners want to see how well you integrate probability with other syllabus areas, like permutations or statistical distributions. If you only memorize the basic textbook scenarios, you'll freeze when the context flips. You need to instantly recognize an and situation requiring multiplication versus an or situation requiring addition, and string those combos together flawlessly. Look at this incredible piece of intel on screen. Candidates referencing cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. This is a direct quote pulled straight from the principal examiner reports. This is the meta. It tells us exactly how the examiners assign top-tier A-star grades. They prioritize analytical depth over superficial breadth. When you can jump into a paragraph and demonstrate that you understand exactly how a probability multiplication rule links directly to a binomial distribution setup, you prove you have the theoretical depth they demand. That's a huge score accelerator. You aren't just giving them a number, you are proving you see the underlying code of the math. Moving seamlessly into Section 2, the procedural framework. Welcome to the Co-op Challenge Arena. Let's imagine Alex and Sam are working together right now to clear a brutal, high-tariff paragraph layout before their screen buffer locks out. They are debating the fastest structural path. Alex immediately wants to slow down. He says, wait, we need to write out the formal definition of conditional probability first so the examiner knows we know it. Sam is already aggressively mashing the calculator, saying, no, just throw the high-velocity analytical thesis link onto the page. Just write 0.85 and move on so we can maximize score acceleration. They are challenging each other's movements live, but both are going to lose points. I have to step in and give them the optimal framework. The only way to clear this efficiently is the standardized sequence. Deconstruct, solve, evaluate. Step 1. Deconstruct the problem. Identify the given info without rewriting the whole question. Step 2. Solve systematically by breaking it into steps. Step 3. Evaluate your answer for reasonableness. This is how you adjust your topic sentences and calculations to hit every single mark scheme checkpoint without wasting a single second. This is your ultimate combo string right here. Extract, interpret, sequence, solve. Let's call it EISS. When the exam pressure hits and the timer is flashing red, you need this muscle memory to process information instantly. First, extract the raw data from the word problem or table. Just pull the stats. Next, interpret the relationships. Are these events independent, mutually exclusive? Then, sequence your logical steps clearly on the page. Finally, solve it. If you execute in this exact order, you completely eliminate wasted actions. You never have to reread the paragraph 3 times, which is a massive time save. Pushing forward to checkpoint 3, the method mark strategy. Time split check. Before we execute this final top band paragraph and lock in an A-star great velocity, you need to optimize your subscription feed. Subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams right now and turn on all notifications. Seriously, hit that bell icon. No matter if you're running IGCSE, O-levels, AS, or A-levels, this channel is your tracking center to outpace the clock and beat the examiners. Okay, timer's back on. Let's look at the screen. Our crew just hit a structural roadblock mid-paragraph. Their evidence dropped out of alignment and their mark tracking is slowing down. On the left, we have Sam's answer-only approach. Final probability is correct, but zero working is shown. On the right, Alex's method-shown approach. He documented the procedural steps perfectly. To optimize this, we deploy a framework similar to the Peel structure used in essay writing, but adapted for math. Point, evidence, evaluation, link. You state your mathematical point. You provide the evidence through your working out. You evaluate by showing the probability rule. And you link it to the final context. Sam thinks skipping this saves time, but if there is one tiny calculator typo in the answer-only approach, they score a 0. It's game over. This slide is literally a cheat code built into the rules. Examiner alert. Method marks can save you even if the final calculation is totally wrong. When you systematically document your process, when you show the specific addition and multiplication rules you are applying, the examiners award you marks just for the procedure. It acts as an elite safety net that rescues your run from a simple arithmetic typo. Always show the method. It is the smartest, most highly optimized strategy because it guarantees you pick up marks for understanding the core mechanics, even if you fumble the final execution. Transitioning to Section 4, Top 3 Examiner Warnings. Listen up, because we are entering the danger zone. There are exactly 3 critical recurring mistakes repeatedly highlighted by the Cambridge Principal Examiners for Unit 5.3. These are the specific performance leaks that will destroy your mark velocity, and we need to patch them right now. I am handing the controls over to you right now for an interactive viewer time trial. Let's go. Challenge 1, the 60-second trend extraction. Imagine a massive complex word problem on screen. A 60-second visual countdown timer is flashing. You have to extract the highest value trend instantly. You spot it, it's a conditional probability trap. Challenge 2, spot the performance leak. Look at these 3 bullets. Let's imagine a flawed sample student paragraph on screen right now that says, the probability is 0.5 because the events are independent. You need to locate the exact line where this costs 4 critical marks. Found it? I'll use my digital highlighter to reveal the correct path. It's number 3, answers not specific to the context given. It's descriptive fluff with bad pacing. Dropping the context, failing to explicitly state which variables from the prompt are independent, ruined your mark scheme compliance step by step. You always have to tether your math to the specific reality of the question. We are at the final checkpoint, Section 5, Evaluating your final answer. This brilliantly illustrates what top-tier, A-star critical analysis looks like when the clock is sweating you. In high-tariff, multi-stage questions, Cambridge doesn't just want a number. They want you to justify a decision. To max out your score, you must identify limitations. You have to question assumptions, like, did you assume those 2 events were mutually exclusive when they actually weren't? You must consider alternative interpretations, and most importantly, justify your decisions with hard mathematical evidence. If they ask you to compare 2 statistical outcomes, you must explicitly state the similarities and differences using your calculated data. This proves to the examiner that you aren't just mindlessly pressing buttons, you are a master of the system. Look at the HUD. Alex and Sam just completed their final high-scoring response paragraph, and we can watch their mark velocity tracker hit 100%. Beautiful run. By applying the correct formats and using the appropriate examiner-approved terminology, they avoided the penalty traps. They evaluated their performance by doing a sanity check on their final probabilities. Remember, if your calculated probability is 1.2, you've broken the physics of the game. Probabilities cannot exceed 1. Extract the data, interpret the rules, document the exact method, and strictly evaluate the final output to satisfy the syllabus benchmarks. Let's wrap this up by distilling this entire session into 3 universal optimization rules. Rule 1, the 60-second command word scan. Never start writing until you know exactly what the examiner's verb is demanding. Rule 2, the marks per minute budget allocation. Never spend 10 minutes grinding out a tiny 2-mark question. You have to keep moving. And Rule 3, the final 5-minute quality review pass. This is where you lock in your context and verify your formats. Now it's your turn. Subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams, click that notification bell for weekly speed run tutorials, and drop a comment below sharing which specific Cambridge unit framework you find the hardest to clear under time pressure. Get out there, start practicing, and go crush your next exam.